Whew. Good morning, everybody. I haven't got the lights on. Whee! There you go. And I just got out of the shower somewhere as well. Welcome, everybody. Good morning. How are we all doing today? We got cons, Imre Hovarth, Flora Hanyu, Nuno Ferreira. Yes, make sure you hit the like button on your way in, if you've not done so already. Jambi, Bradley, good morning everybody. How was your weekend? That applies to all of you. Everybody had a good weekend? Everybody's still having a good weekend? It is Bank Holiday Monday here in the UK, so still kind of weekend mode, but streaming anyway, because it is a Monday still. And having a look at the charts, because we had a pretty decent move up. And yeah, we seem to be holding up. Crackdown, no, I missed the pumpy candle. I warned you on Thursday night that Friday was going to be a pump day. I told you straight. I was like, we're pumping tomorrow, guys. Max long, let's go. And I don't do that often. I really don't do that often, but I did a few tweets. I posted a few alerts in the crew, and I was like, this is it. This is the day. We're going tomorrow. It's ready. Let's go. And we did. So, yeah, happy days. Why did you ever doubt me? Exactly. Never doubt me unless, well, yeah. Good weekend, bad morning. I fell asleep and forgot to put TP. Missed the wick up and closed for break even instead. Never mind. Yeah, I mean, that sweep of the weekend highs just before weekly open was quite nice last night. A good opportunity to take a little scalp short position, but it's holding quite well so far. Arati, good morning. Much love from Koh Samui. Wow. Are you, do you live there, or are you just there temporarily? Because I will be staying probably for maybe like mid-November to mid-December, but I'll be staying in Koh Phangan, whatever you call it. Staying there, but that's right next door to Koh Samui. On the hippie island. But the vibe seems good there, so I'm going to give it a go. That will be like my work base in Thailand for a few weeks. You think we break the channel, or are we max shorting 69k? I think we probably go to all-time highs from here, to be honest. I think what we see here is getting very close to loss of any kind of argument for the bears. I do think we've got a pretty good probability of going to new all-time highs from here. But that doesn't mean we're not going to dip afterwards at some point back to test. But yeah, I think we're probably going to new all-time highs from here. But we'll have a look at it in a minute. Just after a consolidation that's like this, I mean, we have been retracing every move. That doesn't mean that we can't just continue to chop. And it's not going to be slow, right? To begin with, it'll be slow. But I'm not anticipating lower lows after what we have seen. But we've seen how we had the opportunity to hold previously and it didn't. So we never know. We just got to take it level by level. But yeah, I am anticipating the all-time highs because of this breakout, which seems to be relatively legit so far. Dump to daily level 60.3k. Yes. Yeah, that is still possible. See, that's the thing. You can still make these higher lows even by retracing full moves. Absolutely. Yes. When alt season? Probably not for a while. I mean, if Bitcoin's going to break out, it's going to be Bitcoin led, and the alts will play catch up once Bitcoin starts to chillax for a wee bit. But yeah, I'll do a general update in a minute. Look at the charts, and we can go over some stuff. But yeah, cool. Anything else I need to add onto this? What levels are we looking at? I mean, I'm keeping it pretty simple. We've had the CME fill this morning. Where's my phone? We had tier that hit target over the weekend. ETH. Okay, cool. We'll do a little bit of an update. Equities. Do we want to talk about equities? Let's duplicate chart. Let's have a look. What's going on? I mean, it's bank holiday in the UK, so I doubt London session's doing very much. I'm more interested in looking at the ES. Oh, this is new all-time high, isn't it? Look, yeah. It ain't going back. Not after that recovery. NQ's a little bit lower down, but oh, you're referring to title. Yeah, everything's going according to plan, which is good to see. Happy days. Happy days. RTY looking juicy. What is RTY? RTY. Oh, that, yeah. The Russell. Duh. Yeah. I have never traded the Russell. Look at this thing. Wow. Look how well you could have timed that. Beast. So clean. Right, let's go back onto BTC. Hopefully get a slight pullback today. Would be nice to see. Let me pause the music. And let's just do a very quick overview on Bitcoin and stuff. This music's way too chill. Way too chill. So it's better if I don't even have any music at all, because otherwise I feel like I'm just going to talk like this and be like, hello. And it'll be very low energy and very boring. So we got to get the energy up. And yes. Good morning or afternoon or whatever it is, everybody. Welcome to today's update. It is, God, I don't even know. It's the 26th of August, Bank Holiday Monday here in the UK. And we got a little Bitcoin update for you today. So, yeah, we had the really decent move up. So on Thursday, I did kind of tell you it was going to happen, and that's what we were looking for. And we were feeling very bullish on Thursday, saying that everything was starting to line up for a breakout imminently, very much imminently. And it did happen literally like as soon as I started to do these tweets and these posts and alerts and all of that kind of thing, we started to get that move. And yeah, on Friday we had that massive move up, which has taken us back close towards the POC of this whole range, back towards like the midpoint of the range again. We're not saying that it's guaranteed like this is massively bullish right now. It's not quite the same as what we saw back in October, where it took out a lot of major short positions and basically invalidated any bearish argument. There is still the bearish argument here, with it potentially making another higher lower high. However, the breakout itself has been nice. This was an area in which I was looking to accumulate for the next leg up, and we have then had that. So when we're looking at this, it could still just be corrective, like with a ABC, and then we're looking at further down. However, at this stage, I do think it's fairly unlikely. I am looking for this to start to push up towards those new all-time highs as we go into starting to price in the inevitable rate cuts. So when we're looking at this now, we're actually just popping into a level that I have of interest. So I'm going to go down onto the very low time frames, and we do have a daily gap which has just been tapped. Okay, so this is the one from Saturday. We have taken out now our weekend lows, literally within the past few seconds. Those are the weekend lows that have just gone. That was an area that I was saying would look like a really good scalp long opportunity. What you want to see when you have these gaps is either you tap it and then you just bounce, right? Or if it's the other way around, you reject it immediately, or you seek to trade the whole way through it. So there's a couple of things that I am looking at here. I do think that, okay, there are a few wicks just over here that we could be looking at, but overall there's nothing too imbalanced from the move up that we had on Friday. This has simply just come in to take out those weekend lows and test that gap already here. So looks very interesting. What we've also done this morning, of course, is to fill the CME gap here. So we did have that little bit of a gap up on the CME. It was quite nice that we had this move on the Friday night. So it meant that there wasn't a big breakaway gap like we had previously. We did just see a little bit of a gap up, and we've since come back down to fill that. I do believe that this has the potential to go higher throughout maybe the rest of the day, the course of the week, but we'll see how things go here on this particular low and see what that gives us. Now, just going back onto these this time frame here. What else do we want to be looking at, really? That's the main thing. Okay, we had an impulse up. What we have been continuously doing is every time we get these impulses, they are retraced relatively quickly, right? So that gives us a daily gap that takes us back down to around about 61,800, a 4-hour gap that's around here at 62,300, and then we have these previous highs that it's broken out of at 62,750. So those are some other levels that we can be looking at below. We could also maybe be looking at this using your fibs and those kind of things, anchored VWAPs, if we're to look at where this really started to break, which was from that Friday, looking at maybe where that anchored VWAP is lying and seeing if this can get a bounce from there. We can see here that there is a bit more of a drop into it. So this is okay for now. This is an area that I would be looking to bid into. Like I say, there were a few wicks over here that are probably needing to be cleaned up first. But if this does get acceptance, because we're now seeing this, I'm not trading this, like a little just tap into it, it's a little bit too little to trade anyway. But if we do start to get acceptance within this gap, then I would expect this like little bit of a grind down to continue. But for me, that is an opportunity to be looking to bid within this area with the expectation that we can at the very least take out the monthly high, retest back into the monthly open or the weekly open over here. So looking like a nice drop down that we're seeing so far this morning. However, I still think that there's the potential for this to go higher, even though we did take out the those Friday highs last night here, just before our weekly open, and then that has subsequently seen a bit of a move down. I'm a bit all over the place with this video because things are happening as we speak. But in terms of my own positioning, I am long, right? I have my long positions from when we had that like big drop in August. had been adding size to that, added quite a bit more size to it on Thursday, anticipating the breakout. Since then, I have hedged into a short position. I didn't manage to get this high, but I was actually on, it was here, wasn't it? Yeah, we came back into the monthly open, and that was for me a really good opportunity to take a short position as like a bit more of a hedge against that long exposure, wanting to keep those longs open because I am looking at this being a bit of a grindy move up towards all-time high. There was also a very, very similar situation on Ethereum. I know we're not really here to talk about Ethereum as much, but where was it on Ethereum? Yes, we did take out, what were we looking at? Yeah, some significant highs over here. That isn't actually the chart I wanted to look at, but you get the idea, right? We took out this high, and after doing so and then sweeping the highs again over the weekend, that was a good opportunity for me to look for a short. But it's a similar situation on Ethereum, right? This so far is just coming back in to correct the imbalance that it had formed, and I would be looking for a little bit higher, probably up towards like 2,900 ish. But yeah, back to Bitcoin. What else is there we need to discuss? There isn't really anything more to say here. This is the area, if you're not long, you want to be looking for a reaction to try and scalp it. It does seem like we've just had that reaction now. So that being like the little sweep into the daily gap, cleaning up some of that, testing it for now, testing it, wicking into that area. And now for me, looking like this can then be the dip that then takes us towards another high as we go in towards the rest of the day. So it is, yeah, it is literally as simple as that. If we react from this low right now, we're going back up and making another high again. If we get acceptance within the gap, and by that I mean at this stage 30-minute candles, we're looking to these levels below, okay, where you've got imbalance, single prints, those kind of things. But we're not expecting that for now, as long as this reacts. And that really is as simple as the update needs to be. I was going to do this in a little bit more planned, but as it's happening right now, that is it. That is the update. Altcoins are probably looking better. Okay, so if you're looking at this right now, being like, oh, I want to bid, I would imagine altcoins are looking better. We're going to carry on with the stream in just a second because altcoins have pulled back more. This is mainly a Bitcoin-led rally. Open interest looks good on Bitcoin. The volume, the liquidity looks good on Bitcoin. This is a waking up event by the look of things. The books are a lot thicker than they were. Market makers are back. Traders are back. Volume is coming back. So it is a Bitcoin-led move. And because altcoins will be seeing the bigger dip on something like this, like we've seen this morning, they're probably the ones to get the bounce, but you want to be out of those quickly and holding the Bitcoin long. I'm just going to wrap it up here because, yeah, we can probably move on and look at other stuff, but that is literally the update. We're seeing it right now. If there are any other levels above, like obviously you want to be looking to take profit. If we do take out the monthly high, as we go in towards the monthly close, I think seeing how this monthly level closes is going to be really interesting, because if this does continue to go higher, we're going to get just the most insane, like, bullish reversal hammer candle that is likely going to launch this towards new all-time highs. I do have a pretty strong thesis of what is going to happen over the next few weeks, and I'm following a plan, and that plan at the moment is playing out very well. And yeah, we just wait and see what happens, right? Cool. I'm going to close this video, wrap it up here, hit the like button, do all of that kind of thing if you haven't done so. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Bye-bye. It is too early. I don't quite know what to say. Music sounds like a test trade transmission on TV back in the day. Yeah, I just got some, like, it's a bit shit, isn't it, the music? I prefer the let's just go back to this. Okay. I paused. I stopped the music. I'm just gonna go no music then. F you guys. I thought a little bit of chill vibes in the background would be nice. But if you'd rather just listen to my silly voice without anything in the background, then go for it. Put your own music on. You bunch of weirdos. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to talk about like what I spoke about this last week on the stream. I have, really quite a clear plan. Everything's just playing out as it has done in previous cycles again. This stage, so it's really not that difficult. Left curve this shit, yeah. Don't overthink things. Left curve it. Ignore bullshit that's going on in the world. We're repeating the same cycle as we have done previously. Very much the same. So what's going on at the moment, in my opinion, of course, anything can change, and doesn't mean we are going to repeat exactly what's happened in previous cycles. But the length of this range, okay, how this has been playing out for the last few months, has essentially negated the argument that this is a left translated cycle. All right. We're no longer earlier in the cycle than we would expect to be at this stage. We would probably be expecting to be knocking around about 60k, 50s, 60ks at this point in the cycle post-halving, even if we hadn't breached all-time highs and so on. Okay, so I think everything's looking very normal from that perspective. I would have been looking for, if this was like previous cycle stuff going on, a breach of all-time high as we go into September, October. All right, you get a summer lull, it happens, and that is what we've seen. Because of the extent of the move up, we've seen a bigger correction from that, but that has cleaned up a lot of the nonsense that we've seen on the charts. And because of what we've had here, I do believe that it's ready to start pushing towards new all-time highs. And I also think that we're going to start pricing in these cuts, okay? Because I don't think they're quite there yet, right? People are still afraid, being like, oh, cuts are going to cause a dump, cuts are going to cause a pump, what's going to happen? That to me means that there's still a fair amount of speculation going on over them, and that they still need to be priced in, and we've got a few more weeks left for those to be priced in. So if I'm looking at something that I would basically imagine is going to happen over the course of the next few weeks, cuts are bearish. This is what I mean. Don't listen. Look at the data, okay? You're saying cuts are bearish probably because you've been told stuff, all right? Look at the data for yourself and come to your own conclusions, right? Yeah, so it's looking really good. The markets are looking really good. I do think that there's a pretty strong possibility that over the course of the next few weeks, I wasn't really looking at a Bitcoin breakout to be happening until a little bit later on, like let's say September, October. But because we've got these cuts coming, I do think, all right, the cuts are going to cause a temporary dip. Yeah. So they are going to cause a bit of a dip, and this is what we've seen historically. And this is the playbook that I'm going off of at the moment. So I think we've got the potential here, and this isn't going to cause any FOMO. I do believe that we can have a bit of a grind up. When is the next? I need to actually look when this is going to be. So September. Let me just filter out and just go red news. When is next FOMC? What is the actual date? The actual date is going to be, someone's going to tell me in the chat before I find it, 18th of September. That's still quite a long way off, so that's plenty of time for things to happen. Okay, so we've got 18th of September. I would imagine by the time we get to the 18th of September, we probably find that, yeah, that looks like enough time to be at all-time highs again, to me. But I don't think that that's going to mean that we're going to cause a bit of like a big skyrocket. But I do think that that's enough time for us to reach that all-time high in anticipation for this as things start to get priced in. And certainly on the ES, it's looking very likely. Okay, that's a long way off, and we're one day out. Basically, this is the only gap on the chart. We had the rejection from it. It does seem to me like this is going to be continuing higher. Even if this corrects for another week or two, by the 18th of September, there should be new all-time highs again, I would imagine. And what we've seen, okay, if we're looking at the data, I'm just going to repeat this. I did this last week, right? When we get mid-cycle adjustments, which is what this is, these aren't cuts that are based off of any major black swan event, okay? Mid-cycle adjustments, typically, right, they lead to that final bubble, which is what we're looking for. So when we've seen these cuts previously, okay, there have been small corrections, and I think this was a 6-month cycle of where there were cuts. I would be looking at small corrections, but only of like kind of a few percent across equities, maybe 10 to 15% across Bitcoin that can take us back into that range. So that's the kind of thing I'm looking for, but I still do believe, and I still am extremely confident that this rate cut is not going to cause the end of like the bubble. There is no bubble right now. I don't even want to rant about this. You can watch the video. I did a much better video about this on Friday. But anyway, with Bitcoin in particular, I do think that there's enough time to be going to new all-time highs, but then there will be a dip opportunity to happen afterwards. So when that first rate cut happens, I am expecting it to drop. So it's pretty simple for me. Like one, okay, risk on until mid-September, right? Two, sell the news. Three, bear trap. All right? Because what's going to happen is the sell the news will be a few weeks, yeah? Let's say like, I don't know exactly, but like a few weeks of sell the news. Everyone's going to start telling you, oh no, we've got acceptance back into this range, blah, 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 blah. Bear trap. That's the last opportunity in which that's when you go real risk on, okay? So bid. And then bubble. Because this market cannot top until that bubble happens, and there is no bubble. So wait for the bubble. It's just simple plan. It can play out differently, but I want to keep like jamming this into your heads at the very least, so that you know what I'm looking at and that it doesn't need to be like spoken about too much. That's my plan. That has been my plan for the whole year. It's playing out in this way. Okay, we were saying that things wouldn't continue higher, even like back in like March, April, expecting a slow summer. All right, and the summer's not. It's been like maybe not slow, but we're still at this point in the summer, and this is the time now where the timing is starting to line up with the price and starting to line up with everything that's going on, that we can be expecting this move higher. You got to look at the 70s. Your argument falls apart there. If we get cuts fast because of unemployment rising, it's not that great. It'll be 3 cuts over 6 months. I'm telling you now, things aren't going to be anything like, it's not going to be like that crazy. It's 3 cuts over 6 months, right? It'll take the rate from where it is now, which is, where are we? Where are we exactly? 5.5 to 4.75 by next spring. And then people will start going, right, it's like, it's not enough, and whatever. Yeah. But whatever. But it'll be 3 cuts. It'll be 3 cuts over the course of the next FOMCs. There may be one pause in the middle, and it will just be probably very normal. I think this is what I need, like what I keep repeating is like, don't over sensationalize this shit. Like, this is all very normal from what I've been seeing. Mid-cycle adjustments. Data suggests September as a bearish month. It probably will be. Probably will be. Because it's going to happen mid-September and you'll probably end up closing the monthly red. All right? You'll probably put in a nice big juicy wick for the highs in September. Cut will happen. All right? It will crash the dollar and it will cause a pullback on equities, likely. I don't know. Speculation. It's a bit of fun. I don't really have much more to say on the charts right now. I will have a look at altcoins. But it's fun. If it happens, if it plays out, then I'll be like, hey, I told you. Yeah, I told you. And then, yeah, you'll close red. The month will close red. So like the next monthly candle on Bitcoin could be like a nice wick up. You close back down inside the range. Everyone starts getting like mega bearish again. It won't be bearish. It won't be bearish. It'll be the trap. There needs to be a bear trap and there needs to be a bubble. Looks like we're living in a simulation, yeah. I think what you got to understand is the news that they're telling us, news does not matter in any way at all. What's being fed to retail means nothing. Unemployment data means nothing. It's fucking made up numbers, right? It's all made up numbers. It's all bullshit. What they feed retail is bullshit that has a short-term impact on the chart. What you've got to look at is liquidity from where the money actually is, the money that affects the market and what they are expecting. Okay? The Fed, bullshit. It's the trillions of dollars of liquidity that's controlling what happens to the macro. It's all shit. Jay Powell, he's just says what needs to be said from the data that needs to be made. All nonsense. It doesn't matter. It has short-term impact, but long-term, there has to be a bubble before things are going to get bad. Stop asking for a recession until we get a bubble. It's just how it has to be. But I'm just saying, it's my thesis, my own thesis. It can play out very differently, but I'm sticking to what I think until the bitter end, until I'm proven wrong. And I'm not gonna be proven wrong. Will this month close in the green? I reckon so. Yeah, I think so. NQ going from 12K to 20K, no bubble here. Yeah, it's not. It's not. It's nowhere near getting to the point where things are getting too frothy and where retail's coming in. Nowhere near. Yes, things are going up, but it's nowhere near a bubble. Not even close. Nvidia is, but that's probably one asset. Anyway, let's have a look at the altcoins. I get sassy when I'm talking about the macro because like I just see this shit all the time and people are like, oh, we're gonna crash, recession's coming. You've been wrong every fucking time. Stop it. Stop it. Just relax. Wait. Just every time I talk about it, it's like, no, wrong, another new all-time high. And then I come back to the stream and I'm like, oh, recession. No, you're wrong, another all-time high. Oh, recession. No, you're wrong, another all-time high. Every time. Can I look at Bitcoin dominance? Yes. Still thinking this goes a little bit higher. So Bitcoin dominance. Man, I'm in a funny. When I talk about macro, I get in a real silly mood. I do apologize. Yeah, Bitcoin dominance. I do think that it has a little bit further to go. If we are going to get a rally, I think it's going to be a Bitcoin-led rally. So there are certain altcoins that we can be looking at, and there's certain things that, certain alts that look good. But I would say overall, like it seems to me, if you're going to do this, like technically, right, we're probably looking at this move up towards that 60% mark on Bitcoin, 60 to 62%. So that doesn't mean that things have got to crash, though, does it? Because what we've seen previously with these big cycles is you get Bitcoin leads the move up. All right, like it did back in like October last year, it will lead that initial move up, and altcoins will just slightly underperform it for a while, which means that the Bitcoin dominance is going to continue higher. And then when you start to range and you start to top, I think what would be really nice is, and this again is just speculation, right? What would be really nice to see is the altcoins run when we get that like potential rate cut pullback around then, because that would I think that would lead to some really quite fun price action and some good short opportunities as we get another big liquidation event around them. So I think that could be really interesting to look at. And you can look at like the previous cycle where we had this like range that was put in. Yeah. And then you had this Bitcoin marked up, right? Altcoins went crazy when it started to distribute around here. Then everything crashed, but it held support, and then you go for the parabolic run after that. And then you just go like everything just goes nuts. So that would be like the bear trap there, but we'll get like a little mini alt phase, like if there is to be a markup that starts to get some sort of small distribution after we have the all-time highs. I don't think we'll have an alt season until there are new all-time highs and until we're fairly comfortably above all-time highs. So that's why, yeah, I think this move towards that 60%, 62%, 61.8% would be kind of cool, right? Get Bitcoin to 61.8%, and then alt season from there. But yeah, I think a little bit higher for BTC, but led from a Bitcoin rally with alts slightly underperforming that. Which is why I'm not really looking at Ethereum as like a long term at the moment. I think where ETH is at looks really good. But for Bitcoin to go up another couple of percent with the dominance, I mean, you could quite easily just come back down towards support there on Ethereum, and that will be enough to send BTC towards that 60%, just from ETH coming back to that like 0.04 kind of zone. So that looks okay, Ethereum from that perspective. And I just think it just generally looks like a little bit of underperformance from everything overall. Yeah. And then you're looking at a really good opportunity to bid afterwards. So looks kind of cool. So I'm still not looking too much on alts. We had the trade on tier. All right, that played out really well. So I'm still in this trade. I have taken profit now. We had that trade on tier. What else are people asking about on here? Render, RNDR USDT. Oh, it's not RNDR anymore, is it? It's bloody render. This stupid thing. Yeah. Looks good. I mean, there's so many that have had these enormous bounces after taking out like significant lows on the chart, which is really, really quite interesting. So there could be what you'd want to see. Like the thing is, this still could make another. We're talking about this, and this still could make another lower high. What'd be really nice is to see. I wouldn't be FOMOing in until we see higher prices. Now that sounds kind of counterproductive, but right here is not the time to FOMO. We probably do continue higher, but I don't think we're going to continue higher to the point that these prices aren't going to be revisited. So instead of like risking everything now, even if we do have another like 2-3 weeks of upside that takes like the likes of render to like $7.50 to $8, that kind of thing. If you're not positioned, I think where this is now is not going to be a safe level to be bidding when there is going to be a drop. I think we're still going to see that trap that comes later. So even if this continues higher, you're going to get opportunities. All right, I think you're going to see better opportunities, and that's where you go for the big bid afterwards. So no need to FOMO in on something like this. I know there's a lot of maybe FOMO going around, or people thinking, I got to get into this and get involved now. I don't think that's really the case. I think you've got time here still. Yes, okay, we're moving up, but this has just corrected the big move down that we had. It's nothing too crazy. It's not getting too crazy yet. There's going to be better opportunities for trades once things start to go higher, and we need to see volatility kick in. And with volatility, that means that there's going to be downside too. So we will see render back below $6. I'm very confident about that. But before that happens, we probably do still go higher. Yeah, so don't worry. Like, it will go higher, but we're probably still going to see these prices come down again. Like one more time. And then that's the chance to get back in. And I saw this on FET as well. I think FET was a really interesting one. So what FET did, it filled that monthly gap, right? Held it, has had a really nice move up. I think that something like this, you've got a good opportunity to start pushing higher. But I still think there's a good opportunity to get in. Maybe not below $1 anymore, but like lower than where prices are right now. That looks really interesting. Tau USDT, for example, this is another one that looks really interesting here. Let's find one that's got more history. So Tau, as you'll know, I had been buying this. I think once again, there's opportunity for this to go higher, but I do think we see a drop, one more drop before the big like parabolic move goes on. ZRO, yeah, let's have a look at ZRO. I haven't looked at this one for a while. Long term, very bullish. Oh, look at that. It's back. It's back up at value area high. Similar situation, right? It's gone up a lot, but I think you'll probably have one more good opportunity to get this before things go crazy. ZRO is one of those that I just hold the token. I haven't been too fussed about. I did have a leverage position that got stopped, but I'm not in any leverage position on this one right now. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff. It's a nice move up. What we're seeing is a really nice move up that seems to have gone roughly as you would expect from a decent bounce from the market. And I think we can still be expecting higher on a lot of this stuff. But the thing is, if things go higher, it just further confirms and further cements the fact that when we do get another dip, it will be a really good one to bid into. So just relax with it. If you're not in these alts, by all means, take little trades. Like Bitcoin, like what we literally just had, if there was anything that just swept some lows, like, I mean, we're doing this as we're streaming, but let's look at what's down today. Anything half decent that's down today, apart from all these stupid meme coins. Sui. No, ENA. That one looks decent. And this is the thing. This is what I was talking about on during that Bitcoin update. The altcoins probably are providing the better opportunities right here. You've hit a 4-hour gap on ENA. You're getting a decent bounce. You can probably be expecting some kind of move back up towards highs on this. Yeah, FET was another one. So you're seeing some interesting stuff. But I just still think it's cool. How about TON? I still don't think I've ever taken a trade on TON. Where's a chart that's got more history? There. As much as I don't really know anything about TON, and I didn't like that I missed the whole big rally that it had. Yeah, the arrest of the founder. Yeah. I would imagine this is probably because if you look at the move down that happened when the Telegram founder got arrested, that to me looks like a very, very, very good buy right now. Actually, out of all the alts, this is probably the one I'm looking at. Look at just technically. Ooh, I really like this. Yeah, I like TON here. Yeah, you've got a very, very simple, straightforward trade that's just immediately just staring you in the face, even if you're getting in right now. Yeah, that's so simple. I'm longing TON. Like, fuck it. Like, just the probability of taking that low again compared to filling this, and that's just for a TP1. Try and get a good entry. Try and scale into this somewhere. But if you can get, like, look at that. You can get a 3R from this low. I'd say the probability of it filling this before taking that low is more than 30%. You're probably going to end up. That's a nice trade. That's a good opportunity there. And then what you do is you just yeah, because this is what I do expect the market to do. $10. There's a nice even number. You get an opportunity off a FUD in a market that's like ready for this kind of thing to play out. That's it's a no-brainer. I'm just gonna long this. I didn't realize it had dropped that much. And the fact that you've come back in, do you think TON is overvalued? I don't really think it matters at this stage anymore. I think we've seen wherever anything is valued right now is fair. Okay, we've been here for months. So I don't know what the market cap of it is, but the fact that we've been in this range on most stuff, and the alts have been dropping, and TON's another one that's been dropping, I'd say if we're there, if that's what the price is, it's probably fair, because that's where we are right now as we're coming out of this reaccumulation. So yeah, how much TON do I buy? Let's go. All right, I'm long. I'll add to it. But the invalidation is clear. It's the lows that we put in over the weekend. Because look, you had the founder go. This was on. Was it? It was Friday night. So he actually had a pump. It actually pumped when he was arrested. Because this was Friday night, right? It was Friday night. It wasn't Saturday, was it? And then it dumped afterwards. Maybe it was Saturday. I don't know. Whatever. But this is looking good. The only thing you'd have to say about this is if you get stopped on this idea, right? Like it's a pretty hard stop that you want to be. You want to keep that stop solid there, because it does look like a distribution, this, and I think there would be better opportunities if it does go down to like $3 or something. Yeah, that's when this would start to look really good. So just keep it in mind, right? Overall, it's not the best chart that's out there, but it's held up really well throughout this whole range. It is one of the stronger performing assets. It does look like it's a bit of a distribution here. But if everything starts moving up again, I would imagine TON being one of the stronger assets is going to be one of the ones that outperforms. Yeah, I would prefer, if I was to look at spot, I wouldn't go for spot bags unless it came down to like $3 and came back down to this like initial support to test that. Because you're essentially looking at like, here's your like support. You'd want to see that break down. But the way the market's looking, it doesn't look like that's going to happen anymore. If that was going to happen, it probably would have done so already. So it's there, but I think looking at a long locally, at the very least, to come and fill in some of this is it looks pretty good. What percentage below the weekend low do you keep your stop loss at for TON? Honestly, I would. Do you give it wiggle room, or do you just say, look, that's the stop? Because we've already taken the lows. I don't know, man. You got psychological like $5. I'd be inclined just to say that's hard stop. Yeah, we shouldn't be going back down there. In fact, even like if you start doing a deep retrace on this shit, you can probably just get out of that like early anyway. But yeah, I don't know. These things are always real flexible, especially when I'm just looking at something that's on a stream and I'm like, okay, cool, looks good. We'll see how it goes. But I would be inclined to just go hard stop. Just call it there. Which is probably what I'll do. I haven't placed a stop loss or anything on this yet, but I probably will. Are there better levels in which to buy lower? I think because we've taken out that 4-hour low, that looks good. You've got some... I mean, realistically, you don't want to see it go below like $5.45. If it starts to get caught, like, I mean, for me, this is a little bit. I was literally just saying that you don't need to FOMO into anything, and here's me FOMOing into a trade. Yeah, at this stage, if you start seeing candles going down here, you may as well just cut your losses and get out, because you're then looking at a much higher probability that you're going to be taking that low. Like, you could dip into that, but that's not a FOMO setup. The setup is nice. Yeah, I think because of everything that's going on, because of the narrative that's there, and there's not a lot that's giving you opportunities to bid, I think this looks good. So anything that's like within this little zone is like A-okay. Bid that. If it starts to go down here, I'd be very wary, and I may just say, you know what, it's not worth it. Close out of that before I inevitably get stopped out. But I'm not the kind of person that just goes, I mean, I do sometimes. You could just set and forget it. Place your bids, set them, forget them. If you make money, you make money. If you don't, you don't. Something like that. We can look at this as a range as well. So you rejected off value area low there then. And if you were to go... That's interesting. So yeah, just having this little move outside of value again here. I think it looks nice. Not FOMO, but everyone is mama is talking about ton on X. Feels like a game. Yeah, see, I'm not aware. I still don't know what ton is, what it does, anything about it. I'm just like, hey, look, it's dumped. Nice. Yeah. I could not tell you anything about it. I know it's a Telegram thing. But is it like actually a Telegram thing? Does it have utility? Is it actually done by the same guy that does Telegram? I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just like loads of people were hyping it up a while back, and I was never interested. I don't even like Telegram. It's a boring, like, it's just like, it's just a messaging app. It doesn't do much. Telegram Telegram to me, like even the branding of it, it's just like dull, isn't it? So I don't know, man. It's just a blue thing with a like even the logo. It's just dull. Telegram just strikes me as being like, man, I use it, but boring. Ton and Tron memes are the talk of the town now. Yeah, there was this like, I do quite like some of the Tron memes. There was that Capri Sun, because everything's like something sun because it's Justin's son. I was very tempted over the weekend to buy Capri Sun. I don't know what's going on with it. Maybe it's rugged. It's probably rugged. But because it was a new narrative, I was like, oh, this looks interesting. I want to buy Capri Sun. And it was a Capri Sun with Justin's son's face on it. So it's not actually very funny, but I thought it was cool. Where is it? Capri Sun Tron. I want to find it. I don't know where it is. I saw it somewhere. What was I going to look at? Yeah, USDT. That's a weird chart. Do I have one with a bit more like stuff on it? Pokely dotly. Did I or did I not say on Thursday, see, this just goes back to my thing. And we were looking at this and I was like, you know, I'm telling you now, peeps are going to be shorting this. And I remember I was saying this before we had the pump. I was like, people will be shorting this because look, we've filled a gap. We're coming into this OB. People are going to short this. They think there's a nice risk to reward. But understand what the market is doing. Okay, understand what the market is doing. It's going to pop and it's going to stop them. And that's precisely what it did. That's why, like, this was what I was talking about on DOT. Like, yes, okay, looks like a nice short. You've just swept some highs. Don't do it. It's not going to happen. It's going to pop and stop before you get the move. Yeah. And that's what we've seen. And there were loads of things like this. Well, that was the last stream we did, and we were looking at all of these things that were like up at this resistance and being like, looks like a good short. Don't do it. Understand what the market's doing. Okay, just because you've hit into some resistance, you're not going to top unless there's an extreme. And it's the same that can be said from these lower time frames, the higher time frames. You don't want to fade grindy grinds into resistance. You just don't want to do it because you got to get a pop and you got to get some kind of extreme in order for it to reverse. But yeah, DOT probably now, having lost this again, probably does look like a good short because you've had that top and you're back below that resistance and you've broken that trend. So it means that the TWAPy kind of effect that was going on previously, broken down. You could probably look for a short position off of that. ADA USDT. I'm not really drawing anything too technical on all of these. I never have I don't have charts on any of this stuff. What is that? Look, the thing is, you probably, I mean, there can be some trash right now, and you can probably bid this and do really quite well from it at some point in the near future. Yeah. Like ADA, for example, even if this just continues to grind up, you could get a real nice little trade off of this that just goes, yo, look, cool, we're doing this, we're getting that little like thing, and then you got that from it, yeah? I just think like it'd be nice to see things go a little bit higher in the meantime, come up, and then bear trappy, go. Because this fudded stuff could very easily do things like this, and it doesn't mean that that's not going to change a lot on the macro, right? But I can see something like that playing out. I mean, you look at something like this, like Starknet, the opportunity that's here. Say, we're holding where there was some like resistance, and look at the upside. Now, of course, there's risk because these things are just blah, 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 like dead, like crap. But what a ton of these things are now starting to do is because we've been just sideways for so long, we're now starting to see that we've got support from moving averages that's actually starting, like for the first time, you're starting to see some support that's there. You got to break through this bad boy. That's like a 4-hour 200 EMA. That's the big boss in a lot of these situations. But you've had enough time for this to start to just, okay, that pressure's gone. Pressure's gone. And then you can start to build it back up again. And yes, you may get a bit of a dip because you may reject off of that to begin with. But once these things start getting flipped and they start curving upwards, like it's not like, if you can time the market right with these moves, and I think that's the little, we're going into this phase now. I think we're going higher. Okay, we've already just seen Bitcoin's got a really nice bounce. If anyone took that long from the daily gap, happy days. That's already a nice trade. But I think we're positioned and primed for seeing some like higher prices here on a lot of stuff. And whereas maybe we weren't quite ready for it previously because there was still all of this selling pressure going on, you still, like, you could go for the 100 EMA here. That would have been what stopped it previously. And you're flipping those, right? So you just have this pressure, cannot break through it. And now for the first time in a very long time on lots of these alts, it's flipping from a point of which you've got a base of support. So like Starknet. I did say earlier, don't FOMO into stuff, but there are certain things that just look almost too good to pass up because of how crushed they've been previously and how good they look now. Stark probably being one of them. And look for things that have been like hit with FUD. God. I wish I held that short. How good was that? When everyone was like, oh my God. No, it's the new like best thing in the world. No, short. I did short it, but I did not hold it all the way down here. That did not happen. I closed out of that way too quickly. Yeah, there's opportunities here. This, by the way, was like the hypothetical scenario of what you would look to bid before, and we're at that same stage again. Yeah. Where you do think that there's higher to go, but you'd want to get into those highs. And because at the moment we are still making just boom, 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 and they can continue to go lower. Boom. Book of Meme. I'm not going to do it, but Book of Meme looks good. Obviously that short never played out. Would have been nice. Yeah. I think we're looking good for higher this week. I'm going to call it there because I'm just... let's have a look. Auction. I'm going to look at auction. I'm going to look at TRX because obviously TRX Tron has been... whatever, it's going up. Auction, USDT. Like, what? I'm not trading that. It's not showing weakness. Tron hasn't shown weakness and it's going up, so you can't long it. You can't short it. You just wait. Auction looks good. I like shit that's done that. I don't know what it is. Actually, no. This is like really inorganic, isn't it? This is horrible. Horrible, but in an interesting way. Like, tempting. I mean, anywhere within, you got a gap, you got a little OB below. Tempting things. Hasn't really played out previously from filling gaps, but hey, one day you might get it. I like. This goes down to like $15. Alert being set at $16, $15.99. Setting an alert. If this thing goes down there, you got potential because you've had a nice pop and a nice dump after the nice pop. So we know that has the potential to pop. So if it can pop again, then you're looking good. You're looking good. All right, I'm done. That's enough. Doge. Shit, just before I finish. Nice. Like you just, it's just another one of those situations. Like it's so simple. You have an impulse up, you filled it, but you're holding support, so it's probably going higher. Unless you change the market structure. It's impulse, correction, continuation. Cool. Yeah, thanks everybody. See you soon. If anyone has any charts that they want me to look at, feel free to like hit me up on Twitter. I'm actually, this is going to probably be like my second to last stream for a good while because I'm moving out of here this week. So I've got to be packing. I'm going to have to pack all of my stuff away. And then I'm just suitcase bound for like, who knows, years maybe. Living out of a little suitcase with a laptop and a backpack, traveling around. So I'm going to be, there'll be much more of a focus on sharing charts, images, text. Streams will be when I'm available. Be a different time zone, obviously. So yeah, I'll still be around, but things will slightly change after, well, like literally this week. So yeah, it'll be cool. It'll be cool though, because I know probably a lot of you guys just want to see like, give me a picture, give me entry, give me exit, stop talking nonsense. So the amount of me talking nonsense will reduce, but because then I have more time, then I can actually share setups and less talking nonsense. So it's probably a good thing, because I use all my energy talking nonsense, and I'm going to be using my energy on other things from now on. Streams on the beach with a pina colada, absolutely. I'll have my like coconut. I'll have my coconut. I'll tip some rum into my coconut. Sip on my coconut. Gonna be good. Cool. All right. Bye, guys. See you later. Have a good day. And yeah, do what Hostile Pilot said. If you're not in the crew, better join now, because we're doing some like amazing things over there. But I forget to say all of that stuff, and I'm still here, even though I said bye like 10 times.